So this Friday we have the pleasure of watching two different quarter-final ties, both of whom could have very easily been in the final with not a single soul batting an eyelid. Well, that's if souls have eyelids. Do they? But we can go and find that out while I relish about the fact that England have gotten lucky once again. Life is so unnecessarily good sometimes. And in case there are people here who get annoyed about me mentioning England in every video, well, I have a message for all three of you. Fuck off and deal with it. But not right now though, cause yes, we are in fact about to move into the subject matter. France versus Portugal. Okay, so if you've been watching football for a long time now, you'll know that the big games between two titans, especially in international major tournaments, aren't usually the most entertaining affairs. And bro, I'm not gonna lie, this is true, especially nowadays, cause, well, thanks to a certain financially fortunate but fantastic frantic football freak with frail follicles, most big teams nowadays usually play the same way. And therefore, when they come across each other, the weaker team of the pair tend to adopt a more defensive approach, as they know they can't exactly go for like. And once again, this is especially true in international tournaments, as, well, usually most games are less of a must win and more of a can't lose. And while this game is a little like that, it's also a little more complicated than that. Cause listen, I'm not sure how much of a hot take this is, but if we do go like for like with both these sides, Portugal are better. They create more chances, are tactically more flexible, and believe it or not, are a lot more energetic in the press. And yes, that is despite having both of your annoying uncles on the cards. One who ran a drug cartel in his 20s, and one who still thinks he's in his 20s. So on paper, Portugal should beat France. On the pitch though, it isn't all that simple. Why? Kylian Mbappe. So if anyone watched Joao Cancelo versus Slovenia, you'd have seen that that guy was having the time of his life, dancing around defenders, delivering some deadly non-dead balls into the D, dropping into midfield at his will. Bro was balling. But for obvious reasons, I don't think I need to tell you that there is zero chance that he'd be able to do any of that in this game. Well, not very often anyway. Man's gonna be pegged the f back. Which is why, I'll be honest with you, I don't think Cancelo should play against France. I'd honestly opt for Diogo Dalot. He's quicker, better defensively, and is significantly more fresh, which will be key, especially if the game goes beyond 90. But here's the thing though, if Martinez does decide to do something like that, it'll obviously pose more questions, the least of which is exactly how will he then create that midfield overload, since it's so pivotal to the way Portugal play. Now for the smart asses thinking, well, that's easy, just switch Cancelo over to left back. No, because once again, if you have been watching Portugal, you'd know that Nuno Mendes has easily been one of the side's better performers. Plus, in a side with Cristiano Ronaldo up front, it's just more suited to have a left footer on the left flank. But speaking of Ronaldo being on the team, yeah. So look, if anyone's wondering why I've said close to nothing about France's potential tactics, well, it's simply because I don't think they'll change the way they play. They'll pop it about as they usually do, and when in desperation, give it to Mbappe and pray he pulls something magical out of his mask. With Portugal though, it's a different story. Roberto Martinez has already shown that he is willing to experiment with his side in this tournament, but one way he hasn't lined up yet though, is with a more defensive approach. For example, in the context of this game, it'd mean that he'd have his side sit back and focus on dealing with the threats of Mbappe and Marcus Thuram, get Bruno on the ball in transitions, and have it hoof it up there for the forward players to chase. Players like Rafael Leao, Diogo Jota, Joao Felix, and Goncalo Ramos. Yeah. That's the thing. If Martinez does decide to deploy a more defensive approach against France, I do think Ronaldo should be benched. Sorry fanboys. But either way, let's move on from that topic please. I don't really want to spend too much time discussing it. And it's not just because it makes me sad, but also, it ain't fucking happening. Get real. So, as far as what will happen, well, regardless of where Cancelo plays or even if he plays, whoever the Portuguese right back is will obviously be pegged back with the midfield overload coming from the other side. And in totality, my prediction for France versus Portugal is... either whoever scores first wins the game or it goes to penalties. There you are. And if that's too vague for you, well again, fucking deal with it. You come up with a prediction. See how easy it is. Prick. Also Ronaldo will score. And that is that. Agree or disagree, beats indifference. Once again, don't forget to like, comment and share. And of course, subscribe. Till next time, keep rolling.